Hey, what's up everybody? Prime22 here, bring you something different. This is a series I like to call Transformers Lore Corrections, which is sort of a straightforward name. But I want to talk about some corrections for my Transformers Lore series in this series. Yeah. So not everyone's perfect, and I am far from perfect, and my Transformers Lore series does have some things that need to be tweaked. And I've debated whether to just straight up reboot the series or do something like this, and I think I'm going to do this just to get corrections out there. Um, in the playlist, I'll have a separate playlist for corrections, and then I'll also put the corrections in the main playlist for Transformers Lore. But just here's some corrections for episodes 1 through 3 that I've caught so far. So let's get into this. So for episode 1, I listed some of the names the one goes by, and one of those is also the Allspark, which is, it's rarely called the Allspark. You've probably heard the term Allspark in Transformers stuff, but there's a lot of things called the Allspark, and wow, that's so much reflection going on here. Okay. The Allspark can refer to the Transformers' afterlife. It can be used to refer to the Allspark cube, and apparently it also can apply to the One, but they're different things with the same name. I won't really be calling the One Allspark anytime soon. I'm calling him the One. Now, correction number 2 for episode 1. The Big Bang did not occur because the One willed it. The Big Bang actually was a surprise, just as a surprise to the One as it was everyone else. There is a reason why the Big Bang happened in the Transformers universe, or multiverse, and we'll get to that when we talk about the adventures of Vector Prime, because it's a little weird. A bunch of time travel stuff. But yeah. Number 3. This isn't so much as a correction, but like an interjection, like I'm adding this here, which some of these things are. I'm just adding it here for more accuracy. But when the multiverse was created, over 15 quadrillion universes were created, according to Bugbite, I believe. Number 4. I had trouble pronouncing one of the universes in episode 1. And now, after using some pronunciation technology, I think I've picked up on what it is. I think it's pronounced Zobiter. I think the X might be a Z in that case. Don't quote me on that, but I felt it needs to be addressed. Next, and this is just another little thing to add, the Elder Gods sort of have a different comprehension of reality than most people in the multiverse. They sort of view they view reality as just a smaller piece of what there is. I can't describe it because it's beyond comprehension. It's like Cthulhu, because yeah, that's what Cthulhu's based off of, at least in the multiverse, in canon. But yeah, I really don't have the words to describe it, because that's the thing. It's supposed to be undescribable. Another thing I want to address is that the multiverse is actually, so you have a universe, and then you have a multiverse, but there's 2 more stages in the Transformers canon. You have the Megaverse, which includes other bits of fiction that might sometimes cross over with Transformers, so say Marvel stuff, the rest of the Star Wars universe, etc. And then beyond that, you have the Omniverse, which is everything. So yeah. Another little fact for episode 1, Unicron can spawn copies of himself with less divine origins. So like Unicron, even though he's built by the One and stuff, he also can have copies of himself made to be built by Primacron, which we'll get into later. It sort of explains the multiple origins of Unicron. In episode 1, I sort of made it seem that Primus created Unicron, and then he immediately divided him in half and made him Primus. But I've rewrote a paragraph to sort of explain what really happened in between that time. Unicron created the Dark Gods, which he led. Unicron saw the multiverse as a swirling existence of annoying and insignificant life, and he sought to destroy the multiverse so he could find peace by becoming the living center of the void, or the absence of everything. Unicron consumed several realities, called the Old Realms, and slumbered in the void. The void is the total absence of reality that exists in the wake of Unicron's destruction of a universe. The destruction of the Old Realms concerned the One, who decided to create a balance of order and chaos. Fragments of the Old Realms reacted and created the universe around Primex 984.0 Gamma. To prevent Unicron from destroying those universes all over again, the One split Unicron in half. One half remained Unicron, but the other and its new spark became Primus. Primus embodied the aspect of order from the One. While Unicron could travel from universe to universe, Primus simultaneously existed in all universes at once. Primus also shared a mental link with Unicron, giving each other the ability to locate one another. Primus created the Light Gods, which he led as the Lord of the Light Gods. Primus went through the multiverse, exploring just like Unicron. The era of the gods came to an end when the war broke out between Primus and Unicron, and all of the Light Gods and Dark Gods were killed, with the exception of Primus and Unicron themselves. The deceased gods all took their places in the omniversal matrix within the One, and the One told Primus that to take his place in the omniversal matrix, he must defeat Unicron. This was part of the One's plan to create a unity of worlds, timelines, and dimensions out of the new multiverse. The One's plan was for all to be one. However, both Primus and Unicron's continued existence is necessary for the stability of the multiverse. As part of this, the Afterlife was created as the Allspark, where all deceased souls went when their bodies died. So that's a mouthful. That's like a whole paragraph that needed to be inputted, like in between two lines in episode 1. Like that, episode 1 might need to be re-scripted, but let's hope that I can do this correction series good enough so I don't have to do that. But basically, yeah, that adds a whole lot more that I left out. Sort of the One's plan to make everything one, till all are one. But yeah, it also comes to my next correction, and that is I mentioned the Dark Gods and the Light Gods during the war. That's when they were created. That is not the case. The Light Gods and Dark Gods were created just before the war between Primus and Unicron broke out. Another correction I have to make is that I said the Chron Architect was a Light God, and that he was created during the war between Primus and Unicron. This is not the case. The Chron Architect is just as mysterious as Unicron and Primus themselves, and the creator, I guess. But I have another section to read off. At another point, the Chron Architect was created. The Chron Architect was known as the Time Walker and the ruler of time and space. The Chron Architect would become an ally of Primus. The Chron Architect also may have had a hand in the Cloud World. He was not a light god. So that sort of paragraph sort of replaces what I said about the Chron Architect in my lore video. Just some corrections that need to be made. And now we come to episode 2. And my first thing on episode 2 is the concept of the spark. I said that the spark was based off of Primus's life force, but it actually goes further than that. The spark of Primus and Unicron themselves are based off the center life force of the One. Like the One broke off part of his own life force to create Unicron and Primus. So that's the lineage, I guess, of the spark in its creation. There's also a weapon I need to mention. Solus Prime also created a weapon called the Terminus Blade. And the Terminus Blade allowed the Transformers, well the 13, to go from universe to universe to be in the battle. This is the same exact thing that the Sarcophagus did, but it's easier to use the Terminus Blade and just create a rift in space that you can go through than it is to carry around a sarcophagus. At least that's my explanation for it. Another correction I need to make is I alluded to an event at a Greek beach, their visit to Greece, and this was a little too early. That version of the 13 never visited ancient Greece. What do you mean that version of the 13? Aren't they all the same? There's earlier this year there was a story called Another Light, and in it Nexus Prime took the Terminus Blade and he severed the ties between the universes in the multiverse, and that sort of cut off the 13 from the rest of the multiverse, and then they started creating copies of themselves, and it was weird, but in the end it was a different version of the 13 that visited ancient Greece. So there was that character development. Now we come to episode 3, and I only have one point to make for episode 3, and that's the part where the Decepticons start fighting each other after Jetfire says, hey, let's not kill a planet. I stated that only Jetfire and Ransack survived. Some Seekers actually did survive the fall and the battle, but after the Tomb of the Primes was created, the Seekers started searching for it, led by Ransack. But in between that point and the modern, basically Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, some of the Seekers started infighting, and then they just broke apart, and then some just went to stasis. So that's what happened to the original Decepticons. And that's about it. Sorry for the corrections, but they had to be said. Next episode of Transformers Lore that will come out will be explaining universal notation. I know I say a lot of Primax 78910.7 lambda or whatever. I'm going to break down universal notation so it can be understood. And yeah, I think that's about it. If you want to narrate a Transformers Lore episode, just contact me somehow. I'm leaving that door open for people who want to give it a shot. And yeah, I think that's it. I'll see you around, guys. But thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you want to, and have a good day, ladies and gentlemen.
You can go your own